Hey guys, I hope you're really well. So today's video is talking about the differences between croire and penser when using je le, j'y and j'en with all of these verbs. In other words, when you are using je le crois, j'y crois or j'en crois versus je pense, je le pense, j'y pense, j'en pense. Okay, so let's start first of all with croire, because this is the one that confuses most of you, because we tend to do this a little bit less. So basically, croire can be used to talk about belief in the fact that something will happen, belief in that something exists, belief that you believe something, you can place your trust in something. These are the different kind of ideas. So in other words, if you say, I think that Luke is going to do something, I believe that Luke is going to do something, je pense and je crois are fairly interchangeable. So I think he's going to come, ouais, je pense qu'il va venir, je crois qu'il va venir, okay? Therefore, if you wanted to say, yes, I think so, do you think he's going to come? Oui, alors you just say, je crois que oui, or je pense que oui, or je le crois. So you're just using the normal pronoun je le crois. I believe this thing, okay? The croire en versus croire à debate. Croire à is to normally believe that something exists. So for example, if you said, I believe in the devil, je crois au diable. I believe in Father Christmas, je crois au Père Noël. What then gets confusing is that croire en is used to place your belief, have faith in something, I trust in this system. So that's the one that curiously we use with God. So I believe in God, je crois en Dieu. So ironically, a lot of people, well, not so much ironically, but what you're basically saying there is that you place your faith in God. I trust in God kind of thing, more than I believe that God exists, which is kind of the issue of the translation. So in other words, I believe in Father Christmas, of course. Alors, je crois au Père Noël. Je crois au, so je crois à le Père Noël. I believe in God. Je crois en Dieu. Okay? So if you then were talking about using those with the pronoun, so in other words, you're changing your preposition à and en into pronouns. So, je le crois is I believe it. It could also be I believe him. Robbie said that he's going to call back to ask me something. I believe him. Oui, je le crois. So it could be I believe him. Je la crois. I believe him. I believe her. Je les crois. I believe them. Or it could be I believe the thing. I believe so. Je crois que oui. Je crois que oui, and I will write all of these underneath. So j'y crois, often used with j'y crois pas, yeah, j'y crois pas, often used negatively, would be that I believe. So if you think about it, it would often be a je crois, je le crois, j'y crois. There's some crossover because j'y crois means that yes, I believe in that thing being the truth. So if somebody tells you something, often in French you go, oh, mais j'y crois pas. So it's not je le crois pas necessarily, although you can. You'll often hear j'y crois pas, oh, mais j'y crois pas. It's like, I don't believe. So it's not a case of I don't believe trusting in that thing that you've told me. It's more the case of the I believe that is true. Like the Father Christmas and the devil. So you will hear j'y crois pas, je le crois, oh mais je le crois pas. Je crois pas on its own would normally be used if somebody said, do you think he's going to call you back? Non, je crois pas. Je crois que non. That's an interchangeable je crois que non, je crois pas. Non, je crois pas. So we'd need to know what it was. You would have obviously need to know what it was. Right, penser. Oh, and by the way, this so people sort of say, so croire au diable, croire au Père Noël. So people sort of say, oh, well, is that one I can use j'y crois? We don't tend to use the E and the en pronouns as much about... no, it's not that we don't, but we like to use something called an accent pronoun, or some people call them a disjunctive pronoun. So like, I believe in God. Je crois en Dieu. I believe in him, rather than j'en crois would be je crois en lui. You know, I believe in the devil. Je crois au diable. I know that's different. Rather than j'y crois, much more likely just to say je crois à lui, but that's a bit awkward there. You can use à with the disjunctive pronoun, but you're just more likely to say oui, le diable. Oui, je crois au diable. The j'y crois then sometimes wouldn't just be the him, it would be in the concept of him existing. Yeah, that, because can we go back to the original idea? Croire en is to have faith in something, and croire à is to believe that something exists. Okay, so it could be the concept that he exists. If we go to je pense, je le pense, j'en pense, and we just cross the road without dying, otherwise I'm soon going to find out about God and the devil. So penser versus penser à versus penser de. So je pense is just an opinion giver. So I think Luke is fabulous. Alors je pense que Luc est fabuleux. Penser à quelque chose is to be thinking of. So I'm thinking of my friend Phil, because we've got a class on Wednesday and boy do I need it. So alors je pense à mon ami Phil. I'm thinking of, and also because I've just done a video about him and my dad, because they're both called Phil, and you'll see the video soon. It's about star signs. Or you might see the star sign one first. It depends when I pop them up. So penser à is to be thinking of somebody, as in they're just in your mind. They're just literally crossing your mind. So, oh, I thought of you earlier, Luke. I saw somebody that was tall and whatever. You know, j'ai pensé à toi. Penser de is an opinion. Asking someone their opinion. Luke, what do you think of the situation in France? Luke, qu'est-ce que tu penses de la situation en France? Therefore, when you use penser with either je pense, je le pense, j'y pense or j'en pense, you are responding to those situations I've just spoken about. So for example, if you said, I'm thinking about the situation, je pense à la situation, I'm thinking about it, j'y pense, because as you know, I is the pronoun that will take the place of the preposition à. J'en pense would kind of be needed on the end of a sentence where you're referring to the previous question. So for example, he asked me, you know, what do you think about it, Luc? Qu'est-ce que tu en penses? Qu'est-ce que tu penses de la situation? He asked me what I thought about it. Il m'a demandé ce que j'en pense. It would kind of need to come at the end of that kind of a clause. You know, what do you think about it? Qu'est-ce que tu en penses? I wanted to ask you what you thought about it. Alors je voulais te demander, you know, qu'est-ce que tu en penses? You know, tu en penses. Tu le penses is just quite simply, again, like we said with tu le crois, would be, you know, you think that thing. You know, it's crazy that you think that. Just literally that is your opinion. It wouldn't be a pensée à. It wouldn't be a pensée with an on there. It wouldn't be tu y penses or tu en penses. It would just quite be. It's weird. It's crazy that you think that. How can you even think that? You know, c'est dingue que tu le penses. You think so. Again, would be oui. Tu penses que oui. Oui, je pense que oui. Do you think so? Yes, I think so. Oui, je pense que oui. I'm thinking of him again. Let's just talk about these disjunctive and accent pronouns. So I'm thinking about him. So you have learnt so far in a lot of French, à will become lui. So for example, if I say I'm going to ask him the question, I'm going to ask Robbie the question. Je vais poser une question à Robbie. Je vais poser la question à Robbie. I'm going to ask him the question. Je vais lui poser la question. I'm going to speak to Lizzie. Je vais parler à Lizzie. I'm going to speak to her. Je vais lui parler. So you've gotten this idea that lui will be the pronoun that you will use indirectly if your preposition was à. But some verbs will not do this. I'm thinking of him, so je pense à, I'm thinking of my brother, Joseph. So I'm thinking of Joseph, je pense à Joseph. I'm thinking of him. You wouldn't say je lui pense, nor would you with a person say j'y pense, both of which at other times in French can be the replacement for the à. You would say je pense à lui, and you'd use what we call the accent pronoun, the disjunctive. So basically an accent pronoun is a pronoun which kind of stands alone. So moi, je vais le faire. Toi, tu vas rester là. Me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You're going to do it. Very common in French. Okay. So in overview, what do you think of the situation? Qu'est-ce que tu penses de la situation? What do you think about it? Qu'est-ce que tu en penses? I can't believe you still think about it. Yeah, mais pourquoi tu y penses? Because it's pensé à. Luke thinks that it's weird. Luke pense que c'est bizarre. Yes, Luke thinks it. Oui, Luke le pense. Luke pense que oui. Luke thinks yes. Croire. Je crois en Dieu. I believe in God. You can also have a lovely expression, j'en crois pas les yeux, which, I don't believe my eyes. You use that with en. J'en crois pas les yeux. What was I going to say? Croire en penser can also do something else. This is getting a little bit complicated in advance now, but you guys that will know this. So we've spoken about with other subjunctive creating sentences that you don't use, that you use de and an infinitive instead of a clause when it's the same person again. You use de and an infinitive when it's the second clause instead of the same person again. So for example, I'm happy you're here. Je suis content que tu sois là. I'm happy I'm here. Je suis content d'être là. He is happy that Luke ate. Il est content que Luke ait mangé. Il est heureux que Luke ait mangé. He's happy that he ate. Il est content d'avoir mangé. And I always teach those saying if it's kind of a subjunctive style, and you'll notice I always say style. If it's a subjunctive style first clause, that you will do that rather than using the same subject again. Traditionally, at that point in the conversation, I always say, but you can use other verbs that are normal indicative requiring verbs. I know that I'm going to go. Je sais très bien que je vais y aller. I know that I am going to go. Penser by definition, although not creating the subjunctive, which is weird for Italian speakers because in Italian it does. Penser by definition and croire can be used in quite a soutenu, elegant way. You can ditch the que and the next clause. So you can say, for example, I think I'm going to come. You can say, ouais, je crois venir, je pense venir. You can do that. Okay? So that's just a final little nugget of croire and penser for all of you. All right? So main things to take away from this: croire en, croire à, croire tout court, penser. So croire à, croire en would generally be about the different meaning of croire, as in to believe in something would tend to be the à, with the exception of God. Penser à, penser de will, croire en would be, with the exception of God, would generally be to have faith in something, to believe, that you can trust that. That would be the croire en. Penser à and penser de. So it won't be penser à and penser en. It won't be a match for croire. It's penser à and penser de. So in other words, penser à and penser de are your prepositions à and de. And the pronouns that match that are y penser and en penser. When you're using croire with en is a preposition, not a pronoun. Okay? In other words, it's not replacing anything. So when you say en pense, the en is replacing the whole concept that you were talking about. So for example, qu'est-ce que tu penses de la situation en France? Qu'est-ce que tu en penses? The en is predominantly taking the place of the situation in France. Whereas when you use en with croire, it is a linking preposition to something else. You know, il croit en Dieu, for example. Yeah. Anyway, 15 minutes, that's my max. Gonna go and buy my breakfast. I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. If you found this useful, please click like, please click subscribe. Absolutely reminding you that I'm still going through applications for the intermediate class. Had some lovely people so far, looking forward to it. Do let me know if you're interested in the group class at an intermediate level. It won't be the beginners. All right, speak soon guys, take care.